My name is Richard, and today I bring you the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90. It replaces the outgoing CX-9 as the new 7-seater SUV, and it has Mazda's most powerful engine yet, an inline 6 turbocharged mild hybrid. So let's go for a drive.
Reach for the stars.
All right, let's throw it in the sport mode and let's do a quick 0 to 60 run. Apparently, this CX-90 doesn't have any pumped-in audio, so everything that you hear now is real. Sounds quick. It actually sounds really good, and it's pretty quick. You do have two engine options for the CX-90, one being the PHEV 4-cylinder and this 3.3 liter inline 6 mild hybrid turbocharged engine. This makes 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Remember, this isn't a V6, it's an inline 6. Quite an important difference to note, because inline 6s tend to be much more balanced and smooth, which means you get less vibrations and a more linear torque band, especially down low and in the mid-throttle range. And thanks to the firing order and balanced nature of the engine, they sound better than V6, which this thing actually sounds really good. This is why BMW has been able to make their B58 engines more powerful and efficient. And just like the B58, this uses a mild hybrid, which uses a 48-volt battery to support the petrol engine while you're coasting or just getting off the line. And unlike the PHEV, you don't have to charge it. It just uses the kinetic energy from the car to charge itself. Most Japanese manufacturers either use a really outdated 6-speed or a CVT, but Mazda has finally put in a brand new transmission, 8-speed automatic, also something that you typically find in a German car now. It's fast, it's crispy, and it's also more efficient. Either engine you choose, you do get a rear-wheel drive biased all-wheel drive system, which means the power is sent to the back wheels first, which is something that also what BMW uses in their X-Drive cars. It reduces a lot of understeer and it really helps you rotate around corners. Most Japanese cars that are all-wheel drive are mostly front-wheel drive based, so usually it's just power going to the front until power is needed in the rear. So they will typically understeer a lot, which means when you're trying to power out a turn, you'll end up going straight. Performance cars, however, throughout history have pretty much all been rear-wheel drive, from F1 cars to Porsche GT cars. And that's probably why this Mazda CX-90 handles so well in these corners. Yeah, this thing is really planted. It's also rather stiff. The steering is nice and heavy, and it's weighted, and that's exactly what BMW does in their cars too. You can really feel the road, especially with these 21-inch wheels and with how stiff the suspension is. Also, BMW. This car uses what they call a kinetic posture control, which minimizes body roll and enhances cornering stability, while actively braking individual wheels to allow the 7-seater SUV to rotate around these corners like a champ. Also, because of the inline 6 layout, it's more narrow and centered to the car, which gives it a better weight distribution than typical V6 cars. This is arguably a budget-friendly BMW X5, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. This thing drives like one, and it's made for enthusiasts that actually need a 7-seater SUV. And none of it is a marketing scheme. They don't have 12 different badges that are red and shiny to indicate that it's a sports car. They actually engineered it with performance and handling attributes of something like a BMW. When you do take it out of sport mode and put it in normal mode and drive it like a normal person, blinded, it's actually quite refined. It feels like a typical luxury car. These windows are also double paned, so when you have the windows up, you don't really hear anything. The CX-90 also has a combined fuel economy rating of 25 miles per gallon, with a rating of 21 miles per gallon in the city and 28 miles per gallon on the highway, which is about 20% better than something like a Telluride or an MDX, both of which make a lot less power than a CX-90. You can also just use regular gas in the CX-90, And thanks to that mild hybrid and the inline six, you do save quite a bit of fuel. In our testing, we have been averaging 27 miles per gallon with a mix of both highway and city and a lot of traffic. So it's pretty on par with the rating, if not better. In terms of safety, we do have eye active sense with forward collision warning, with braking intervention, lane keep assist, blind spot monitors, road sign assist. There's also adaptive cruise control with stop and go, and the lane keep system actually works at any given speed now, which unlike Mazdas in the past, it only worked when you're going under 60 kilometers per hour. The steering is actually quite heavy even when you're going at slow speeds. And you do have a 360 camera, which does really help you maneuver though. You have a curved view, a front view, and a back view. Up front, we have this brand new design. We have this really cool gloss black grille. It's not just flat, you can see there's a pattern that goes downwards. And then coming over to the side, we have this recessed lighting. Most cars, the headlights are like at the very front of the car. But on the CX-90, you do have a little ledge where you can put a water bottle. We have this really cool DRL that runs right across into the headlamps, and then parking sensors, and we have an air vent, which most cars have fake vents, and it runs air right into the brakes. We have the 360 camera, we have chrome up here and chrome at the bottom here, which actually works really well with this car. And then we have a box for probably the adaptive cruise control sensors. Coming around to the side, this is 7.5 inches longer than the CX-9. We have a nice inline six badge, and these door panels are massive. Look at them, they are huge in the front and the back. And then coming down to the wheels, these are 21-inch wheels wrapped with Toyo 275 wide tires, which is quite wide for the class. Then we also have a chrome strip that runs across the bottom with the little Mazda logo. Typically, Mazda uses black plastic fender flares, but they actually color matched it with the car to give it a more upscale premium look. Coming to the rear, we have this really long taillight with a little hook design. It looks very similar to the BMW taillights. We have no exhaust tips though, so it looks pretty clean and simple. And we do have this cover here where you can install a trailer hitch, and the CX-90 can tow 5,000 pounds. But if you do get the PHEV, it can only tow 3,500 pounds. Even the interior of the CX-90 feels like a German car. We have these Windsor tan seats with suede in the middle and a black center stripe, and we have Nappa leather on the side. The interior here feels very premium. We also have suede on the dash as well, and we have soft leather pretty much across the interior. And on the door, we do have this plastic thing that mimics wood, but it's actually not wood, it's just plastic. It's much better than having gloss black. Same material down here. Up here we have a 12.3-inch screen, which is slightly angled towards the driver, just like they do in BMWs to make it more driver orientated. You do get wireless CarPlay now, and it is touchscreen, but only for CarPlay. And when you're using the normal MMI, you have to use a knob, but with CarPlay you can use either, just like you would in a BMW, in case you don't want to reach all the way, and just use like muscle memory to control what you're trying to select. Most of the time though, I highly recommend just using Apple CarPlay because you still have the same UI interface that Mazda's been going with for years now. Kind of outdated, the navigation's pretty old, there's probably not much reasons why you would use it. Just use the map in CarPlay. It's simple and clean, and you do have Bose audio system with the center point audio, and it sounds really good in this Mazda. Moving to the center, we also have a 12.3-inch digital center cluster. Not really much you can go through. You have your fuel economy, your eye active sense, and there's two different views that you can go through depending on whether you have cruise control activated. Up top, you do have a heads-up display. It shows you your speed, your lane keep information, and you do get little boxes on the side that indicates whether there's a car in your blind spot on the heads-up display and in your center cluster. Coming down to the steering wheel, you do have Windsor tan on the inside and black on the outside. The steering wheel feels really nice, very simple and premium. Moving to the side, you do have a telescopic wheel, and you do have auto high beam, which works really good at nighttime, and the lights also swivel. Very nice touch for a mainstream car. The center console is really wide to hold that new 8-speed transmission. You have that wood mimicking plastic down here. You do have a wireless charger, your drive select mode, which you have normal, sport, and off-road. Then you have a 360 camera button, your brake hold, volume button, which is the best place you can put it, just like they do in Audi, so you don't have to really reach. And then you have this center console, which is tiny. It's about 3 inches deep, and not really much space in here. The back center console has a lot more space than the front. The HVAC control is super simple. It's completely mechanical still, and you do have ventilated seats and heated seats in the front and the back. Over on this side, you do have your auto stop start deactivation, which they call iStop, and you have your memory seating and a few other buttons like your traction control and the trunk release. Very premium interior. You feel like you're in a very expensive car just sitting in here. We have this massive door which opens up 90 degrees. You have a sunshade on the door as well. And stepping in, it's pretty much the same materials that you would find up front. You can, of course, recline the seat and move it back and forth. This is configured for 6 seats, but you can get the 7-seater depending on the trim that you get with the CX-90. You do have 2 USB ports here and an HVAC system, which has ventilated and heated seats as well. Something that you won't typically find in this class. Even a BMW X5 doesn't have that available. You have your mat pockets, quite a bit of space, nice and soft armrest, same kind of style armrest that opens up in a pair, and it's much deeper than the one in the front. And you also have a cubby for space down here as well. Also, something that you don't typically find in economy cars is auto up-down windows for all 4. It's a very nice premium feature. Getting to the 3rd row is pretty easy. You do have a lever over here, and then you push the seat forward. In some SUVs, it's just a button that just does it all. And then getting in, not that much space to get in, but when you do move the seat back, you do get quite a bit of space. You have a few inches left on leg space and also a few inches in headroom. The panoramic sunroof isn't all that big though. It doesn't even reach to the end of the 2nd row seats. You do have a USB port back here and a USB-C port on that side as well. The rails do get in the way when you sit back here. Odds are you're gonna end up sitting like this or like this. No, there's not really much room to move your feet around. So lots of space back here. You can fit kids in the back or even full-grown adults comfortably in the CX-90. In the CX-90, you do get a little light here and also a light on the side as well, and a 110 outlet here and a USB port. You got 16 cubic feet of space back here, and you do have the strap which folds down the rear seat, which opens up to 40 cubic feet. This class of SUV has an abundance of competitors, from the Highlander, the Explorer, the Telluride, the Pilot, the Pathfinder, the Palisade, the Accent. There's just a ton of competitors in this category. This is the most premium and sporty of the bunch, without being any more expensive than the others. Repeatedly, this thing will get compared to a BMW. BMW this, BMW that, BMW everything. And that's not a bad thing. From the engine, the handling, performance, to the premium finishes and touches, they've undoubtedly taken quite a few notes to build this new SUV. Yeah, you're not gonna get massaging seats and all that, but it's a perfect balance of driving dynamics, the right amount of sportiness for an enthusiast, while being luxurious and practical for a very, very fair price. In this very competitive segment, the Mazda CX-90 differs from mainstream competitors and forges its own distinct segment of premium and sporty SUV. That's all guys, thanks for watching.